Hello, welcome back to Nothing and Everything, a podcast that I am the host of and recorded another episode of last night. I'm Russell. I might have said that. Did I say that?
What?
Did I already say my name?
No.
And I'm joined by Kyle. Kyle.
Oh, hi.
Kyle, how do we know each other?
So we went to high school together, and that high school was
Kyle,
best.
I was going to say, yeah, we went to Brother Rice together.
Oh, I didn't know we were allowed to say names.
We're just not allowed to say our last names because do you want crazy fucking people from the internet to find you, Kyle? Do you want them to?
I don't know. I am, pretty starved for attention right now, so maybe.
And human contact of any kind. So Kyle's on the show, for those of you who didn't pick that up. And now Kyle and I work together at the mystery location in which I work. Because people don't know where I work. Because if they do, they'll figure out where I live, Kyle. They'll know. They'll find me. Sorry about everyone's ears on that. I'm balancing the levels because... Holy shit, my co-host is actually physically in the room with me. I don't have to talk by myself like a fucking madman. Kyle, how was your day?
I was alright. I worked at this
place.
Mystery place, and it was alright.
Kyle's never really listened to podcasts, guys.
Yeah.
And I don't think Kyle's ever been on a podcast.
No.
So I'm going to give you
I have officially been a part of more podcasts than I've listened to as of today.
That's what we're about here. So here's what we're going to do. So Kyle, this is a look behind the curtain of podcasting. Do you see how professional my setup is? His laugh says, wow.
I'm supposed to say yes, apparently.
It's a nice computer.
Yeah.
Hey man, don't make fun of my computer. This is a really nice computer. It's a nice Mac. But so when you're doing a podcast, you're essentially talking to the other person, but also talking as if there's an audience.
Okay.
So
yeah.
Now you can practice your stand-up routine.
What stand-up routine?
Yeah, Kyle. That's the best.
I wish I could be a comedian, but I can only be funny on the spot. I can't
Then you should do improv.
Oh, that's worse. I tried doing... Well, I didn't try doing improv. I took, a theater class in college.
Uh-huh.
And, one of the exercises for the day was improv, and I looked like an absolute moron.
Did you do it to impress a girl, Kyle?
No, it was legit an assignment, and I don't know how I managed it, but I somehow botched improv.
Yeah, I think I would, too. Actually, I don't know. Since I wrote a podcast, I might be able to just, riff. Mm-hmm. However, I don't think I'm creative enough to come up with jokes on the spot. I can just keep talking to fill up dead air. But yeah. So, Kyle, I'm going to ask you the question that most film people, movie people, that's what we are, movie filmmakers.
Okay.
Kyle, you're a teacher, but it's fine.
Okay.
What's your favorite movie, Kyle? That's a good movie.
Anytime someone asks me that, I tell them that's trying to choose my favorite child.
Kyle doesn't have any kids, anybody. Or everybody.
Don't let them know that. I need to make them think that I'm cool.
Okay.
Honestly, I think I would say Pulp Fiction.
Pulp Fiction's your favorite movie?
I really like Pulp Fiction, yeah.
Actually, we just talked about Pulp Fiction on this podcast a couple weeks ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we did a whole episode on Tarantino.
Uh-huh.
When Once Upon a Time in Hollywood came out a couple weeks ago.
I still need to see that.
It's really good. We should go see it together.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, so I'm going to just pad out a couple more minutes before we talk about the main topic, because see how it says how long you've been doing this for?
Yeah.
This is eternity. We've only been doing this for 4 minutes and 30 seconds. Doesn't it feel like we've been doing this for 6 hours?
No, it feels like we've been doing this for 4 minutes and 30 seconds to me.
My hands smell like dirty coins, and that's all I can think about right now, and I have a really bad sense of smell. For all of you out there who didn't know this, I have a really bad sense of smell. And I was cleaning money, which sounds like the whitest statement of all time. But I have a bunch of coins in my car, and I was cleaning them off. and my fingers smell. I play with that all the time on the podcast. It's my favorite thing to play with. Like, I've gotten comments on what's that ticking noise? I don't know what that thing is called, but it's so much fun to play with.
It's like a pair of scissors, but it's
there's like a clamp on it.
Honestly, I think these are like surgical scissors.
Yeah, they are surgical scissors.
Yeah, okay.
Also, don't stick those in the tip of your penis.
Well, that ruined my evening, but...
Yep.
Alright, you're the boss here.
Isn't that so much fun to play with?
Is,
Dude,
yeah.
you're going to pick that up 5 more times before we're done. I know you are. What was I talking about? Oh, cleaning dirty money. My hands smell like dirty coins. Shit, I forgot what I was saying.
No,
Kyle,
you're on the right track.
Kyle,
Coins.
you like movies and coins.
Sure.
I have a Scrooge McDuck amount of coins downstairs.
Yeah, he really does.
It was like $40 in like quarters and pennies and stuff. It was impressive. I'm happy about it. That would be like 400 quarters. Whoa.
Okay. I'm so bad at math. For all I know, you could be right.
I think I am right. Yeah, it's 400 quarters because
All right, I'll
4
take
is
your word
$1, and then 40 would be $10. 400 would be $40. Kyle, you're the one.
I'm just gonna take your word for
Kyle,
it.
you're the one who's in school to become a teacher.
Dude, I needed to be tested because of how bad I am at math. It's a legit learning disability.
Oh, dude, same. And I'm getting a master's of science, and one of the professors who's like a one of the masters of fine arts professors was like, "Oh, who's in the cinematography degree?" And we raised our hands, and he's like, "I feel so bad for you guys. Have to do so much math." And we all looked at each other and we're like, "Wait, we have to do
What?
math? We're filmmakers. We can barely read."
Yeah. No, and besides, I'm being a teacher for history and English, not math. Math is dumb.
Math is dumb. Have we ever used math to do anything? I don't think so.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah. People listening to this have all just turned off. They're like, these are fucking morons. So, Kyle, I'm going to ask you the question before we get into our topic.
Okay.
Do you like clowns?
Depends on their context. If they're
jerking you off, yes.
I mean, I guess by default I would. I've seen clowns at circuses and they're pretty cool, I guess. But if
when they're
trying
jerking
to,
you off,
again, same response.
okay.
But if they're trying to murder me, then I guess not.
Yeah.
Or if I'm watching about a murderous clown, then I guess I will like them.
But you love the Joker.
Yeah.
Who is a clown.
Yes, he is.
So Kyle's a big Batman fan. We're not talking about Batman on this podcast, but Kyle, how much do you like Batman? I'm surprised you didn't say Batman movie was one of your favorite movies. I'm really surprised.
I really like The Dark Knight. I really like the Tim Burton movie. Like I like insanely love those movies. You having fun there?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, yeah, I love those movies. But I don't know. Pulp Fiction is just like Pulp Fiction can make you cringe, laugh, cry, and then laugh again.
Yeah.
Like within like 5 minutes of screen time, and I just love that about Quentin Tarantino's movies in general. But I think Pulp Fiction pulls it off really well.
Yeah.
Django comes as a close second in that
Oh,
regard.
I like Kill Bill more than Django.
Oh, really?
Okay, I think we talked about this on the episode where we talked about Tarantino. Did I like Django? I rewatched it after it. I think on that podcast I didn't like Django, but now I kind of do, but don't really like it. Mm-hmm. I like bits of it. I think there's parts of it that are fantastic and other parts of it that are like too... you know how you don't like Wes Anderson?
Oh, yeah.
And Tarantino kind of verges on that with me. Not that they're similar directors, but they have this style that's so, like, them. Mm-hmm. And then when you disseminate it down to its core root of that stuff... Jesus Christ. The core root of that style, I can't. Not all the time. Whoa, what is up with this pen? Wait.
see that?
Sorry, this is really bad radio, but this pen has like it's like a Joker pen. It's like
that's like that's like a pen you use to cheat with, like on a test. Like when the teacher's not looking, just
wait, yes. It's like paper that's rolled up inside the pen. But dude, you'd be pretty like not subtle at cheating. You're like, oh, that's the answer. And then put it back.
I just love. Hold on, wait a minute. I just love. Oh wait, that's the answer. And then the hard snap.
The teacher's like, what was that? You're like, nothing. Who has one of those curly up paper pens? You're like, not me.
And then you just raise your hand. I'm more impressed by the fact that you know what that was.
Yeah, it's just like, huh.
Yeah.
You've been doing your research. I clearly haven't been because I've been cheating. Northwestern University Library. Need books? Need articles? Need help? That one I do need. Ask a librarian. Librarians scare me about as much as clowns do. Northwestern University Library. Shout out to them for having cool pens. What we were talking about Pulp Fiction and the Nolan movies. I love
Tarantino.
Oh yeah, Nolan.
Use your words.
It's okay. It's fine. It's not like I run a podcast here. You know what? I love the Batman Nolan movies, but they're like, what if CSI but Batman?
Yeah. Well, the whole idea was that it was as realistic as possible. Like, it was Batman if it actually
happened.
Yeah. And, you know, I told you this maybe a few weeks ago, but if you really think about it, like, Bruce Wayne in the Christopher Nolan movies only clocked in about a cumulative total of about, like, 6 months as Batman. Because like, Batman Begins and The Dark Knight happen, like...
within weeks of each other.
Yeah, and then, of course, you know, he quits being Batman for 8 years, and then when he's back with Batman, like, you know, fighting Bane and stuff, that only lasts another, like, 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
So...
and each of those movies, like, The Dark Knight only takes place over the course of, like, a week.
Yeah.
And I think Batman Begins is only... I mean, like...
Batman Begins has got to be at least a few months, because, you know, he has to, like, order all the stuff from, like, I don't know, Amazon or something.
From Lucius, who's like...
yeah.
Does it come in black? I think it might.
Yeah.
Andy Dufresne.
I think it might. Andy Dufresne.
If you guys don't get that really bad reference to another Stephen King property, watch Shawshank Redemption. What are you doing?
Speaking of Stephen King, I think...
oh,
yeah,
we're talking.
I mean, we're only like 12 minutes into the topic about it.
We're talking about It, Chapter 1 and 2. Not the Tim Curry one. Which, have you seen the Tim Curry one from the 90s?
Technically, I've seen all of it, but I've never watched it from beginning to end. I've only ever seen
like pieces
of it over however many years. But yeah, I've seen it.
Same. Okay, I rewatched them, I don't know, 2 years ago when the first It came out. I just went out and watched them online. They're not good. Tim Curry is good. The rest of it is not.
Yeah. I just love the scene when, like, they're in the library and, like, all the balloons, and you see, and Tim Curry goes,
it's so bad. And I love that they're scared of balloons the entire time. They have, like, irrational fear of balloons. They're like, Jesus, fuck!
Yeah. Oh, my God. But, yeah, it was weird, like, in, like, Pennywise's, like, true, like, evil demonic form, like, it just looked like a big bug. It didn't really, like...
It was similar to the Fly from the 1950s Fly, not the Cronenberg Fly that looks like a goopy mess of scary.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, that was just Jeff Goldblum on, like, a typical Tuesday afternoon, though.
Just covered in goop?
Yeah. That's him in his natural state.
I have a question. Since your name is Kyle, you're going to Area 51 on... Friday! Oh, shit, that's happening this week.
Okay.
Are you excited to see the alien goop?
Well, I mean, I guess I would look forward to it, but, I mean, let's be honest. I'm going to get shot in the face by, like, the expertly trained... Because let's be honest, people. You know that the government is taking this seriously.
Oh, there's going to be a giant, like, battalion of soldiers there.
Yeah.
And a bunch of, like, Kyles on Monster Energy drink are, like... running towards
behind the people who run, like, Naruto.
Yeah. It's going to be great. But, you excited about the alien goop? You're just like, I want to see the goop. Would you rather see an alien or goop? Like shiny goop. Like it's like glow in the dark goop, and they're like, look at this.
What kind of alien are we talking about? Like the gray alien, or like the xenomorph alien, or
It's gonna be like a xenomorph, except it's like trapped in a tube with goop.
Russell, do you want me to answer? I want to see the goop, because that's like the old. Because you've said that word at least 5 times.
I'm guiding you towards wanting to see the goop.
Okay, fine. I want to see the goop.
Yeah, that's the quote of the year. Kyle wants to see the goop, guys. But what would you do if on Friday they're like, "Oh yeah, aliens are a real thing"? What would you do? Like they're just like, "Oh yeah, this is a thing."
I'd probably like go home and like live my life the way I normally do.
I'd be like,
because aliens have no effect on my life whatsoever.
I would just laugh at all the people. Not that I think it's a bad thing that people do this, but you know how all the people have those like tattoos, the alien ones. They're like, "I want to believe" with a flying saucer. Yeah. I'm like, ha! All your tattoos are useless now. You got that for nothing.
Yeah,
it's just hilarious. Then you should scratch out the "I want to believe" and then just write "I told you so." Or people should get that now in anticipation for Friday. Or just be like, "I knew about the goop," with a flying saucer and a little vial of goop. But we were talking about It. Kyle, did you like It Chapter 1?
I loved It Chapter 1. It was so like. What I loved about it, come to think of it, it's the same reason why I love Pulp Fiction. There was just such a rapid change in tone and emotion throughout the entire thing. 1 second, you're laughing your ass off as like the kids are like, I don't know, throwing rocks at each other, and then like literally 2 seconds later, Pennywise is chasing them, like emerges from the projector, like as a 50 foot tall clown that makes you like jump out of your seat and stuff, and I absolutely love the first one.
Yeah, I also think it was fantastic. So, which character in the Losers Club do you associate with the most? Like, which character are you? Because I have an answer to this. Because I rewatched this movie yesterday.
Okay. Oh man, of the Losers Club.
I know which one I think you would be, but I want to know who you think you would be.
Maybe. What's the main guy's name? He has a stutter.
Oh, Bill?
Yeah, I guess Bill, because I also have siblings. So, yeah, but honestly, that's kind of the only way I think I can relate to him.
I was going to say you would either be Bill, or is his name... It's Finn Wolfhard's character, the kid from Stranger Things,
the comedian
who turns into Bill Hader,
God, that poor kid,
who evolves into Bill Hader. I think, in my mind, you're that character, just because I genuinely think you're funny.
Oh wow, that's one. Well, that's one person.
Yeah, but that's who I would associate you with, or the main character of Bill.
Yeah,
I do see both of those characters.
Yeah.
I think I'm Ben, the fat kid.
I thought you were talking about your co-host.
No.
Yeah, who turns into like a sex god, basically.
I am not a sex god, but I was a chubby kid, and I have gotten in shape. And I'm like, I was also a geeky kid, where I listened to music and was obsessed with stuff, and also had like this obsessive part of me where I'd get into something, and then I'd have a million pictures of it on my wall. Yeah. Where I'd like do like endless amounts of like internet digging. I mean, this is pre-internet because this is 1989, but I mean the internet technically existed. But I associate myself with that character a lot, and like having a crush on someone or like that, and then they just never notice you.
Oh yeah.
And then when you like get older, they see you, and you're like, man, fuck you. Like you're like, now you like talk to me because I go to the gym all the time, asshole. Like. Sorry, I didn't mean to pour out that vendetta on a podcast, but that is the character who I do associate the most with is Ben.
Okay.
But what's the story of It? Can you give a synopsis of It Chapter 1, and I'll give a synopsis of It Chapter 2.
So, these kids... So, it's a Stephen King novel, so surprise, surprise, it takes place in the town, or in the state of Maine. And apparently there is like this. It's either an interdimensional monster or like an alien. And if I understand it correctly, he feeds off both the fears of its victims and also the victims itself.
Yeah.
And building off the idea of like feeding off of their fear, it can transform into what you fear most, like from Harry Potter, the Boggart.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, its favorite form to choose is of Pennywise the Clown. And, did they say that technically Pennywise the Clown was a real human being that assumed its shape or something?
I believe so. I believe Pennywise was an actual person who existed.
Like in the 1800s?
Because that's why in the first one, when they go into his lair, he has the Pennywise the Dancing Clown trailer that he's inside. I think that is from that actual person.
Okay, yeah. Not only can he, transform himself, but he can also, control reality around him to, make people as afraid of him as possible.
Because it makes it easier for him to eat them.
Yeah, basically. And as for the actual plot, it's about these kids who are kind of like the pathetic losers of the town, and they're the only ones, for some reason, in however millions of years Pennywise has been an issue, that realize that there's an evil, murderous clown running around.
And that we need to stop the clown.
And they figure that out because the main character, Bill, his little brother is eaten by Pennywise, and so they basically go around trying to figure out who Pennywise is, all the while being tormented by him.
Yeah.
And they eventually end up fighting him, and I can't remember how. I've only seen the movie once, but they figure out how to defeat him. It's like facing your fears or some stuff like that.
The moral of the story is if you bully a bully enough, you will win.
Okay, sure. Maybe not the best one, but okay. Maybe not the best social message to have, but yeah, they end up fighting it. They don't kill it, but they do make it retreat.
Yeah,
and they form a literal blood oath.
Yeah,
because they cut their hands and shake and I'm not even going to
get
into
in a circle.
Yeah, I'm not even going to get into all the health risks associated with that. But they form a literal blood oath, and they promise themselves that if Pennywise were to ever start killing people again, then they would all return to Derry. That's the name of the town. They would all return to Derry and try and kill it again.
Yeah. And I think because of the blood oath in the book, I believe that has some sort of magical significance, because also in the Stephen King averse, there's a big fucking turtle in the multiverse that's God, and Pennywise is the devil, or it is the devil.
That's very convenient for the children, because I doubt that they knew that forming a blood oath had a magical impact on them.
And that's why, spoiler, when Stanley dies, it becomes stronger, because it knows that their bond is breaking, and it gets stronger when their bond breaks. So yeah, that's it, chapter 1, and they fuck up the clown, which is probably the most cathartic moment in cinema. Yeah. Where a bunch of kids beat the shit out of a clown, and you're like, oh, thank God they get to fuck this clown up. But it, chapter 2, starts out with a hate crime.
Oh, yeah.
Which is pretty brutal to watch.
That scene wasn't scary in the fact that it was like those realistic horror movies where it's based off a true story. I can't think of one, but it would have had it had that same level of horror effect that I haven't seen it, but the same horror effect that I imagine that Ted Bundy movie would have, because that
it's real.
Yeah, it's real. That's not a monster
terrorizing you. It's
terrorizing.
People.
Yeah, it's showing something that actually happens, and it works in the benefit of the movie in two ways. One, it kind of brings up an issue that I don't know should be addressed. But then on top of that, it's an instance of horror in a horror movie, but it's like realistic horror, which makes it all the more scarier.
Yeah, it really does. And then after this hate crime where a gay couple get beat up by these like bigot assholes, Pennywise, they like dump the two guys in like the river after beating the shit out of them, and Pennywise like lifts one of them out of the river and eats him.
Yeah,
because
and like you see him get eaten, like he's got like a big gigantic hole in his chest.
Yeah,
after Pennywise bites him.
Yeah, and this movie is a lot more brutal than the first one.
Yeah, it's brutal, but ultimately not as scary, and that was really disappointing because it was advertised to be like 10 times scarier than the first.
I think. Yeah, it wasn't as scary. So the point of this movie, basically, is Pennywise is back after 27 years, because that's his, like, hibernation period. And the Losers Club has to come back together, minus Stanley, because he kills himself. Because Stanley got his face nearly bitten off by Pennywise in the first movie, and he couldn't handle the stress of coming back.
Oh, yeah.
He kills himself. Which, I mean, honestly, if a fucking clown tried to bite my face off, and someone's like, hey, man, we gotta go fuck up this clown 30 years later, I'm like, I also might kill myself. Like, I don't know if I could handle that.
I'm going to take a hard pass on that.
Honestly, yeah. Like, if a clown tried to eat my face, I don't know if I'd be able to handle that mentally.
Handle the stress of
a clown trying to fucking eat you. Yeah. So that's a thing. But this movie, I think the only scene that really scared me. Oh, P.S. They killed Pennywise in the end because they realized if you believe he's nothing, he has nothing to feed off of, so they're like sucking his life.
Nothing.
Yeah, they like suck his life force out basically through the power of believing or something.
Yeah, the power of positive thinking, basically.
Yeah, the power of positivity. So yeah, and they rip his heart out at the end, and that's how they win. But this movie also does cover some deep topics, kind of like the first one. It covers like relationship abuse. It covers like the fear of who you really are inside for Bill Hader's character. He's lied to everyone forever, or kind of kept inside that he's gay. And it's implied that he's married and stuff, but has always had a crush on another member of the Losers Club and everything.
And on top of that, it also kind of explains why he's always such a smartass in every situation, because it's like...
it's his way of coping.
Yeah.
And I think the only scene in the movie that actually made me jump is the one with Bill Hader with the statue.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, it wasn't the statue. It was Richie the character, but like when he's a kid. Though?
Yeah, that's the only scene that made me actually jump.
Oh, yeah.
Was that.
No, for me, what made me jump... Like, even though I was expecting it, it was when Pennywise was luring... Like, so, in the movie, spoiler, I guess, there's a little girl who has, like, a very obvious birthmark on her cheek. And, first of all, I thought the setup for, like, the jump scare was really good. Because, like, so Pennywise... So, this little girl is at, like, a Little League baseball game with her mom. And Pennywise... And on top of that, it's also implied that she gets made fun of all the time for her birthmark. And Pennywise lures her under the bleachers, like with like a firefly that she wanted to catch or something.
Yeah.
And first of all, I thought it was really funny. Not maybe funny in a ha-ha kind of way, but you know, Pennywise is like, "Oh, come here, little girl, come closer." And immediately the little girl goes, "No, I was told not to talk to strangers. Besides, clowns are creepy, and you're even more creepy."
Yeah.
But then Pennywise was like, "Oh, boo-hoo." You know, he like pretends like he's crying. He's just like... And he works off of her insecurity. And this girl is probably like, I don't know, like 7 or 8 years old.
She's a really good actor.
Yeah. She was really well cast, too. And Pennywise basically, like, lures her in using her insecurity over her birthmark. He's like, "Oh, boo-hoo, you know, I was like, I can't make any friends because they all think I look weird. And it's really hard." And then that's what lures the little girl in. She's like, "Oh my god, you too? I know what that's like." And what happens is that Pennywise is just like, was like, "Really? They would make fun of you over a silly little thing like that?" And you know, keep getting her closer and closer and closer. And finally, it's like, "Well, I can make that thing on your cheek go away. And she goes, really? He goes, yeah, I can do it on the count of 3. Okay, ready? 1, 2, and then he just stops and he just like stares at her like with like his cockeyed expression.
Yeah.
And then like he like eats her and like you see him eat her and there's like blood everywhere.
And she says you're supposed to say 3.
Yeah. She goes, you're supposed to say 3, and then he attacks and like eats her.
That did get me as well because it makes you wait for it because you know what's going to happen and you don't realize how it is, and that got me. Also, the scene in the funhouse mirror where Bill's chasing the little kid.
Yeah, like trying to save him from Pennywise.
I didn't think Pennywise was going to kill the kid.
Yeah.
I thought, like, he was going to break through the glass before Pennywise did. But Pennywise keeps hitting his head against the glass to get this little kid. It's in the trailers. But he just breaks through and the kid explodes into blood.
Yeah, and it was really cool, too, because, so, like, Pennywise was, like, banging his head on the door or on the glass in order to get to the kid, and it looked like he was one of those toys. They used to be called Bobo dolls.
Yeah,
but it's like you punch it and it falls back and it and then it because it's weighted on the bottom. It looked exactly like that.
Yeah, because he's just like bopping into it and he has no expression on his face.
Yeah,
and then he just goes boom right through it.
Mm-hmm.
That scene did get me.
Yeah,
and I think the scene they did from the first movie with the 3 doors, the not scary, very scary, and scary, was incredibly funny.
Was that in the first movie? Or
yeah, they did it. They did it in the first movie when all the kids are in the house.
Oh, okay.
It's the 3 doors in the house, and then it's Bill Hader's character and the germophobic kid's character who dies, Eddie, and it's so funny. He's like, okay, Pennywise is definitely fucking with us. It's reverse psychology. So they go through the very scary door, and it is scary.
It's very scary.
And then they're like, okay, let's go through the not scary door. It's a Pomeranian. And they're like, oh, maybe he's not fucking with us.
And then the Pomeranian turns into like a zombie or something.
Yeah, it turns into like a demon zombie. And they're like, oh god, he is fucking with us.
Yeah,
That's really funny. And when they do the kind of the riff on the movie The Thing with the head that grows spider legs, it like scurries off into nowhere, and then Bill Hader's looking around with the...
I found it.
Oh, it's right there. Jumps on him. Like, there's little scenes like that are so funny, because it's kind of like what you would think, oh, it's right there. And it jumps on you. And have you seen the show Big Mouth?
I only saw those few episodes you showed me.
Oh, never mind. I was going to go into a thing on it, but it's... Yeah, never mind. But, so, did you like the second one? I liked the first one a lot more.
I mean, the second one was good, and there was definitely value to be had in it, but at the end of the day, the first one was better.
I think the second one would be really good if you watched it right after the first one. Like, if you went right into it.
Yeah, it's definitely meant to be one movie, but, I mean...
Yeah.
They didn't have the budget to make it, like, as long as, like, Titanic or anything.
Yeah, and I think the director said that there is going to be a cut of the film that is like 5 hours or something with them pushed together.
Okay.
And if that is the case, it'd be interesting to have it flash back and forward chronologically so that the film kind of lines up better. And I'd really like to see it. I think the film would benefit from being one long piece that's like 5.5 hours long.
Yeah, that was structured the same way the book is, because apparently in the book, the very first scene in the book is when they're all adults, and as the book goes on, it's all flashbacks. Or all the instances when they were kids are all flashbacks.
Yeah.
So,
and I do like the whole, like, the bad guy, the Bowers kid. That, I was expecting the whole time for someone to be like, who the fuck are you? And, like, totally forgetting who that guy is.
Oh, yeah.
And I do like that Bill Hader's character stabs him in the back of the head with an axe.
Oh, yeah.
He just kills him. He's like, are you okay? No, I just killed somebody. I'm not okay.
And I love how after that they goes like, no, not you.
Mike on the ground.
Yeah, Mike. Yeah. It's like, no, not you.
He's like, yeah, I'm good. But yeah, I genuinely, really, really liked it.
Yeah, it was good.
So on a scary scale, what would you put the first one and the second one?
The first one on a scary scale,
10 being like you have to close your eyes the entire movie. Like, the first time you see Alien when you're, like, 11 years old, and it frightens you to your core.
Yeah. I would say the first one was about, like, an 8, but the second one was probably more like a 3.
Yeah, it's like a 3.5.
Yeah.
Because you know what's going to happen. And there are some gross out moments. It's more like, ick.
Yeah.
I think only 1 or 2 of the jumps really got to me. Mm-hmm. But in the first one, a few, like, the projector scene really
that got me.
The projector scene and the scene in the first one where it's Beverly in her house and she like knocks the shit out of her dad and Pennywise is right behind her.
Yeah.
And she turns around and he's there.
Yeah, that's right.
That got me. And then there's like 2 or 3 more scenes in the first one that really, really... The scene with, I think, Finn Wolfhard's character, the kid from Stranger Things, where he's in the room of clowns.
Oh, yeah.
That just kept jumping.
Did you notice in that scene, one of the clowns was...
Tim Curry?
Yeah, Tim Curry's version.
I didn't notice that, but I watched a YouTube video of, like, things you may have missed, and it pointed that out. But yeah, I did genuinely like both of them, and I think they are worth watching, and I think... in a lot of ways, they are really good entry-level horror films, where I think most people can watch them and not completely shit themselves. Like, I showed my girlfriend the first one, and she got scared as much as the next person who doesn't like horror movies would get scared, but it didn't break her mind.
Yeah.
It, like, I feel like if you showed someone the Babadook, that would break your soul. That will destroy you.
I liked Babadook not because it was scary. I would rate it maybe like a 5 or 6. I just liked it because of like the psychological.
That's what I'm talking about. The Babadook is a movie that'll make you check your closets as an adult.
Yeah.
Where Pennywise, you're like, man, I don't like fucking clowns, but I'm also not exactly scared of him.
Yeah.
Because like my greatest fears are like personal insecurities, and what's Pennywise going to turn into? Like.
Dying alone.
Yeah, like the concept of dying alone, or like my crippling anxiety. Like, Pennywise, what are you going to turn into? The lack of my epilepsy meds? Like, but yeah, I mean, I think it is really good. It is definitely worth a watch.
Yeah.
This gets Russell's famous 3 thumbs up and a half. That's my rating system. It's like 1 thumb, 2 thumb, and a 3rd thumb. I rate movies different every time. There's no real rating system here.
What?
Don't pop Quaaludes before the podcast. They'll kick in the middle.
That's the overall moral of the story today. You know what you should have? Have you ever seen Animaniacs before?
I have seen Animaniacs.
Okay, yeah, we need a wheel of morality at the end of every episode.
We do, yeah.
Wheel of morality says... early to bed and early to rise makes a man healthy but socially dead.
That's so true. So it's come up that Jesus H. Christ. Okay, words. Here we go. We got this. It's come to my attention that people can do impressions of me, and I don't like it.
Oh, really?
My girlfriend did an impression of me that was spot on, and I absolutely hated it. You know on Snapchat how you can, like, do the thing where you wear someone else's face on yours, like you can do the cutout? Have you seen that?
No.
Dude, wait, here, I'll show you.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, I'll show you on Snapchat what I'm talking about. I don't know if it's still on there as a feature. It was forever and a half. Let's look. Oh, maybe they got rid of it. But, okay, look on Snapchat, like, you can do, like...
That's terrifying.
Okay, so, like, there's different filters.
Okay.
There used to be one of them that would go through your personal photos, and you know how I have those things with, like, all the face cutouts where, like, you can... I'm showing Kyle this live, which is why I'm kind of, like... So you can take a picture of yourself, and then, let's say you have a cutout of Coleman, you can put it over your face, right? You used to be able to do it on Snapchat where you can do it in a video, so it'll, like, render over your face while you're talking. And my girlfriend had one of me, and she was doing a Russell impression, and I'm like, I hate that that's spot on. Like, you know that you have it right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's creepy.
And I don't like it. She had, like, the voice intonation right. She had, like, the sound of my voice right. Mm-hmm. I was not happy about it, but I'm like, damn, that impression is spot on. But I didn't realize that you could do an impression of my voice. You know how everyone thinks you can't do an impression of them until you hear one? You're like, shit. That's a thing that I anecdotally said.
Well, I had to do Archer for your aunt last night, or 2 or 3 nights ago. That was weird.
That was weird, and I left the room. I'm like, I'm not being part of this. I don't condone any of what's happening, and I left. Kyle, have you seen Rick and Morty?
Oh, man, I've only seen like 1 or 2 episodes. I saw the very first episode and then the interdimensional cable episode.
Those are the only ones you need to really watch. There's like 1 or 2 other ones. There's one where they go inside of a car battery and it's pretty fucking funny, and Stephen Colbert is the like guest voice. But yeah, we should do a full review of like Justice League, the cartoon, on here.
Oh, dude, that'd be dope.
Because I have Hulu, and I mean, there's ways to get it online. But
not
that I condone people doing it illegally, because I'm also in the industry, and that's taking money from me. Don't take my money.
I have watched every, like, so Bruce Timm is the guy who does like the animation for not only for Justice League but like for like Batman and Superman. I have watched all of those shows, and so for the record, those shows include Batman the Animated Series, Superman the Animated Series, Justice League Unlimited, and Batman Beyond, and then any movies associated with that. I think there are like 2.
Yeah.
I've watched all of those in a row at least twice, maybe 3 times in my whole, like, in the past 3 years.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so like I really know
a lot
about it, so
that's pretty wild.
Yeah.
And so for the record, people who've listened to the show a lot will know that I'm a very big Tolkien fan. I'm a very, very big Tolkien fan. And I think Kyle's the only other person I know who is as big of a Tolkien fan as I am. He doesn't have it tattooed on him, like an idiot.
But I do have... I have all 3 of the main Lord of the Rings books. The Hobbit, the Silmarillion. I have a... I should bring it in sometime. I have a glossary, or an index, I guess you could say, of, like, everything that's Middle Earth, like all the terms and names you need to know and stuff like that. And then I have another book, it's called Tolkien's Ring, and it basically tells all of the myths that Tolkien used to... So, yeah.
That gives the backstory and context to why everything is what it is.
Yeah.
So Kyle's a big fan. I think we should do a Lord of the Rings marathon and then talk Lord of the Rings, like a full Lord of the Rings episode of this podcast.
Okay.
Like Tolkien-centric, like going from like the Silmarillion through... the Hobbit, Lord of the Rings, and what we think the Amazon show is going to be.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're doing the Second Age.
Yeah.
It's been confirmed what they're doing. And they're going to do Numenor.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're looking...
I.e. Atlantis.
I.e. Atlantis. So I think we should do one on here as like your go-to quintessential Tolkien-averse Lord of the Rings. Here's everything you need to know from 2 fucking nerds for like an hour and a half. Boom. It's like 101. I think that's what we should do.
Yeah.
And I mean, to get through Lord of the Rings is only 13 hours?
With the, I mean, it depends. Are we doing the Hobbit too? Because I have all 3 Hobbit movies.
So
I know
I think
they're not as popular, but...
I think we have to watch those one weekend and then the Lord of the Rings the next weekend. So we may come back to do this in like a month. Because I'll also have to like brush up on Silmarillion things and a lot of terms, because there's a fuckload of names and places to remember in the Silmarillion.
Like, honestly, the Silmarillion, like, it reads like a Bible.
It does. It reads like a textbook. It doesn't read like a story. It reads like, on this day these things happened, therefore this will happen.
Yeah.
It's not... There's no character development. There's no story arcs. It is a
pure fact. Yeah.
Yeah. It is,
again, I think it reads more like a Bible. Though,
it does
more
read more like a Bible.
Like, I think if you were to throw this book, off Earth and it were to land on some other inhabited civilization, I think they would legit think it's like a holy book or something.
Oh yeah, they would definitely think it's the history of this other place's society, and it also not like religious values and stuff behind. It almost makes more sense.
True.
Maybe because it wasn't written 2,000 years ago and translated 100 different times over and over again.
Yeah.
And if you've used Google Translate and tried to translate the same term 100 times, you'll know it doesn't make sense anymore.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so we'll do that on the next one. Kyle.
The next one? because
on our next one together.
I thought the next one.
We're doing the Joker.
Yeah, Joker.
And then we're
going to
do
like in October 3rd.
Yeah, so it's like in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I was initially against the idea of making a Joker movie. For two reasons. First is like how can it's like making a Batman movie without not a Batman movie not just without the Joker, but without any villain at all.
Yeah.
It's the same logic except reverse. Like, how can you have a movie about the Joker without Batman in it? Second reason I was against it. I'm just so checked out of superhero movies.
The MCU has destroyed my brain.
Yeah, and just in general, even even though they're not objectively not that good, but even the concept of DC making their own movies too, I'm just tired of it. There's just so many.
Man of Steel was good, and so was Shazam.
Yeah, that is 100% true. But after I saw the trailers for Joker and stuff like that, I'm like, okay, yeah, I think I'm psyched to see this now.
Yeah, because it's not like the other ones.
Yeah.
I think that it is something different.
Yeah, didn't you say it was sort of inspired by one of Martin Scorsese's movies?
It was. Martin Scorsese, the executive producer, and it's very heavily inspired by a film called The King of Comedy that actually has Robert De Niro in it.
Yeah.
Who is very similar to the Arthur Fleck character. And he goes on and goes crazy because he's like this failing comedian, and this movie kind of flips that.
Okay. Yeah, and Robert De Niro, he's also in the movie, and he asked to be in this movie.
Yeah,
right?
because of The King of Comedy.
Okay, yeah.
And he likes comic books as well, and likes the Joker as a character.
Oh, yeah.
And wanted to be part of this. So there are some huge names in this, which does give me hope that it is going to be good, because Robert De Niro isn't the kind of person you would just see in a Marvel movie.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's too much of
he's too well typecast as a gangster.
Yeah.
Because
he's too much of a
Godfather.
And he's too much of a prestige person. Robert De Niro wasn't in The Godfather.
Yeah, he was.
No, he wasn't.
Really?
Let me look.
Oh no, I'm thinking Robert Duvall.
Yeah, you're thinking of Robert Duvall, not
okay.
Robert De Niro.
But still, he was in Taxi. I mean, that
he
was
was
more
in
like
Taxi Driver.
That was
he
more
was
like a vigilante
and
flick.
in Goodfellas.
Okay, that's the one I'm thinking of. Then.
Yeah. But yeah, that is kind of a mix up. Also, I haven't seen The Godfather in 8 years. I have to go back and rewatch
Honestly,
this.
I don't like The Godfather.
The first one's good. The second one, everyone says is better than the first one, but I think I've only ever seen the second one once. And then the third one, I think I've only ever seen half of it.
Yeah, because it's apparently terrible.
Yeah, the first one's really good. I mean, it's a classic movie, and I think if you're in film school, I think everyone has to watch it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's The Godfather. Watch it. Be better than me. My dad's never seen The Shining. We were talking about that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's weird. Do you like The Shining?
I love The Shining, yeah.
I don't like Stanley Kubrick. He makes me upset. But The Shining
that's the point of Stanley Kubrick, though, to make... and, that was the source of the rivalry between him and Steven Spielberg. Stanley Kubrick always did stuff that was really sad and depressing, while Steven Spielberg...
was uplifting. Except Schindler's List.
Yeah, I heard all this information from, a source on YouTube who reviews movies. But so I guess you could call it Stanley Kubrick's movie, but have you ever heard of the movie AI, Artificial Intelligence?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Well, that movie was originally written by Stanley Kubrick. But he died before they started. The script was written, but he died before production started. So
Spielberg.
Steven Spielberg directed it, and the whole movie was basically Steven Spielberg trying to emulate Stanley Kubrick because he wrote it. Mm-hmm. And that was actually Stanley Kubrick's attempt to make not a lighthearted movie, but a movie, a happy movie or a movie with a happy ending.
Really?
Yeah, it wasn't reviewed well by critics, but the overall, I think it was really cool how Stanley Kubrick tried to make a movie that that was just so out of
left
his area.
field.
Yeah, out of his area of expertise.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
I did not know he wrote that. I actually like AI. I think that movie's really cool.
Yeah, for those of you who haven't seen it, it's basically about a little robot, what is it's a couple that
it has a robot child.
Yeah, they have a robot child instead of a real child, and as a result, that child thinks it's a real person, and the whole movie's about him finding out he's an android and coming to terms with it. And within the at the end of the movie, something happens, and I don't remember what, but what ends up happening is that the kid ends up being trapped like in a submarine or something like that, like underneath the ocean, and stays there for 2,000 years. And after that point, aliens show up on Earth, find the kid, and the aliens decide to basically like mercy kill him. But before he does, but before they do, they like upload his brain or something like that into a computer program that basically simulates like heaven, and like this this android child's version of heaven is him like playing with his mom and dad like forever, and basically stuff like that. Like that was all Stanley Kubrick's idea. Like he actually wrote that in.
See, I think that's really interesting. That's very Black Mirror before Black Mirror was a thing.
And like it was an ending that was just like so way out of left field, but apparently that's what he wanted, and Steven Spielberg kind of...
Yeah, that movie reminds me a lot of Minority Report, also probably because that's a Steven Spielberg movie.
Oh, yeah.
But that's also very Black Mirror.
Yeah.
Where it's like technology, but what if technology was evil?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, worth mentioning, I guess that's an important detail, the kid is abandoned. The robot kid is abandoned by
his parents.
So that makes, like his version of heaven all that more meaningful.
Not to get too deep, but... that used to be one of my greatest fears.
Oh, yeah.
Being abandoned by my parents.
Oh, yeah.
It's because I'm adopted, guys. That used to be my greatest fear. Now my greatest fears are weird insecurities in my head. I don't know why I just said that on a podcast. Hi! That was really uplifting, but I am not kidding. I saw that movie as a kid when I was younger, and I was like, oh man, that could happen to me. This isn't good.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Don't worry about it. I have way weirder fears now. Don't worry. Like dying alone. Not being abandoned by my parents, who I'm confident don't love me. I used to be like, do they not love me? Now I know for a fact they don't.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. My parents probably like me. I'm okay. Hey. But yeah. Through the magic of podcast editing, we had to pause for something, and now we're not paused.
Get out of my room, Mom!
God damn it, Mom! I'm doing a podcast! But... I forgot we're AI and my weird insecurities.
Yeah, didn't we start this out trying to talk about it on top of that?
Yeah, we were.
Isn't technically like the title of this episode having something to do with it?
It is. Kyle, before we are done with this episode, on a real hot note, do you have anything to recommend the audience to read, watch, listen to, participate in before next week's episode? It can be anything. So, it's just like a recommendation if you were going to tell someone off the street or a friend, like, hey, you should get into this.
What's next week's episode? It's not the Joker, is it?
Joker's the week after.
Okay. Oh boy.
It can be anything.
Yeah, that's a tall order. Well, what are your ideas for next week's episode? Yeah.
Next week's episode, I'm not exactly sure what it's going to be, but I'm going to recommend 2 things for next week's show. I think everyone out there, I know I recommended it in the past, I'm going to recommend it again. Guys, watch the Dark Crystal show on Netflix. It's really, really good. Definitely get into that. And if that's not your thing, get into Jim Henson. Puppetry is a really cool medium for cinema, and it's a really cool, different art form. Get into that. Something different. Maybe you'll enjoy it.
Well, since you were talking about Netflix, one of my favorite shows that's like a Netflix exclusive is Voltron Legendary Defender.
Oh yeah,
like it's really good. Like I'll admit right off the bat, it needs to have some work done regarding like. Not like the plot is good, don't get me wrong, but just like the story structure needs to be worked on. But other than that, like it's really good. It's animated really well. The fight scenes are awesome.
Yeah, it is very well done.
No, that would be a spoiler. Yeah, the fight scenes are awesome. Just the concept in general of Voltron is awesome.
Mm-hmm. I do think it's really well done. I haven't seen all of it. That's really good, and so is the Godzilla anime. I've only seen the first one.
Oh, I need to
see
that.
There's 3 of them now. It's really good.
Okay, yeah, I'll have to watch that one too.
Definitely watch those. Do you have anything else?
I mean, I guess in preparation for Joker one, because I'm going to be referring to it directly. Like I'm going to bring it with me when we talk about it, just Batman: The Killing Joke,
the graphic novel.
Yeah, the graphic novel. I mean, I guess you can watch the movie too, but the movie has a very unnecessary prologue about Batman and Batgirl. But, you know, the movie gets across the point really well as to what the source material had. But anyway, if in any way you can find it, Batman: The Killing Joke, because...
the Joker, the new one, I think it's going to take a lot.
Yeah, because... I'll definitely be at least referring to that when we do that episode.
Yeah, I think those are both good recommendations. Also, everyone out there, eat a salad this week. Just eat something healthy. Just do something good for your body. Go run or something. I know I ranted about it on yesterday's show, but I have an unhealthy obsession with the gym. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Don't even look into it. Don't even think about it, dog. Don't even trip. But yeah, that's the show. Kyle, how many thumbs up out of 5 thumbs up would you give this?
I give it 2 thumbs way up.
That's what we like to hear. This is an episode. This is Nothing and Everything. It is a podcast that we talk about everything and nothing. Yeah. Thank you. Remember, eat food. Stay healthy. Carbohydrates are good in moderation. Cal, do you have anything else to say before we're done?
I think we're good.
Goodbye.